Thank you so much for being here, Vanja Černivec.
Thank you for the invite.
You know, your first interview in Portland after taking charge of the Portland Fire as general manager. I gotta ask you, how's Portland treating you so far?
It's been amazing. Everybody's so supportive, helpful. My bags were lost, and everybody tried to chip in and help me with getting lenses, getting clothes. So, yeah, everybody's been helpful, supportive, and welcoming.
Since you made that decision to take on this new role as the general manager of the Portland Fire, I'm assuming it was a few months ago, but how has the last few weeks, the last few months been for you? Has it been a little bit hectic, kind of handling two jobs at once?
It has been a roller coaster. I did ask to have kind of a clear transition, so I wasn't in two roles at the same time. I don't think that would be fair. So as soon as we've agreed on the departure date with the Valkyries, I've asked for a week or two break so I can kind of reset. And then when I come back, I start with a clear mind. So it wasn't too bad of a roller coaster.
I think we all got that experience of losing our bags once or twice. It sucks. I don't recommend it to. Yeah. I'm curious, what was it about the city of Portland or the Portland Fire that called your attention and you said, I want to be a part of this new thing?
I think it was kind of both. I'm not going to pretend I'm from here and kind of understand the culture of the community supporting the women's sports in general. But ever since I started the interview process, the ownership has kind of inspired me with their vision, where they want to take the Fire, and not only the basketball team, but also how to combine it with the Thorns and how to inspire and build around the athletes and kind of reignite the community around women's sports. Mm-hmm. They want to do things differently. They want to innovate. So, and my best friend lives here, so that was kind of a cherry on top of making the decision to move out to Portland.
Okay, so you have established connections here. We're not worried about you leaving anytime soon.
No, hopefully.
Okay, so I have to ask you, and because I wouldn't be doing my service as a journalist, but if you don't have an answer, that's okay. The head coach search. How is that going so far? Is there anything you can share with us?
The only thing I can share that we've started the interview process. We do not have a timeline. We're just focused on the right fit so far. There's been a lot of interest, as we would assume. So we're just doing our due diligence and kind of talking to people and kind of casting the wide net. Trying to figure out who the right fit will be for our organization.
Hey, I'm going to apply. Let's see what happens. I have experience in Guatemala. That's it. Talking about the right fit, what kind of culture do you want to set with the team, not only with the staff, the coaches, but going forward as a team later on?
Yeah, in general, I want to build a culture of trust. I want everybody on our staff and players to feel like they belong, they're valued, they contribute, they have agency with what we're building. And, when you're in crisis, you kind of want to rely on this community resilience. So I want us to be flexible, adaptable, and kind of be open to what's coming, because we're building, but we do not have a fixed structure. We do not know what's going to grow. So we just have to be courageous to take one step at a time and see what evolves.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, Portland is a very vocal community that will tell you they support you, but they also demand a lot. Rightfully so. Okay. Very supportive here. How invested will you be and your team will be on listening to the community and getting the people's input on the team?
I think that's one of our priorities. Not in the future, I think they're already doing it. A lot of community activations, the response has been amazing. We're just gonna continue to do that and build upon, and I think even expand. I know our president has great initiative and plans on using all the retired WNBA players that are here, kind of put them out in the community and kind of activate and inspire the new generation. So we're excited to see what's to come.
I'm excited for you. I know the next question doesn't fall directly on you, so if you don't have an answer, hey, that's okay. Any information on season tickets?
I know we already have over 13,000 season ticket deposits. So I would encourage anyone that's interested to kind of join and support the Fire to pick up the phone and put the deposits down.
Got you. And of course, you guys will be playing at the Moda Center.
Yes.
What is your vision, not only short-term but long-term, for this team?
Tough question. Like I said, from year one, we want to be competitive. We want to kind of reach the playoffs, but our goal is not winning, how do you say, for all costs. Like, we want to build culture first. So, like I said, trust, having people have their voice, their agency, and then just build upon that. And yeah, I think through the years, we just want to be competitive, being in playoffs, attract players, mostly attract good and talented people.
Coming from Golden State, their success wasn't like, it wasn't surprising to the people behind the scenes, such as yourself.
Yeah.
This team was built on a winning culture. Is there anything you can take away from your time with the Valkyries that you can bring here to not only, like you mentioned, have kind of like instant success, but also long-term achievements?
For sure, you know, Valkyries were just like a cherry on the top, kind of adding to my experience throughout the career. So having gone through the expansion draft process and building a team from scratch will definitely benefit me in this new chapter. I think a lot of the focus with the Valkyries was just bringing high character people, and that's something, you know, I will not deviate here at the Fire as well.
Mm-hmm. So you said high character people. So could we see some big names coming to the Fire that we maybe heard around the league when it comes to your staff?
Potentially, definitely.
Got you. One of the things you mentioned, and then we've been talking about, is the community involvement. You personally, do you see yourself getting involved in the community and just getting out and about on the streets, just listening to what people have to say about the Portland Fire?
Yeah, definitely. I cannot wait to go out and meet the people. I kind of think, you know, Portland community has been ahead of the curve with supporting women's sports. You know, having the team here in early 2000s, I know the arena was almost sold out and they had one of the highest attendance. So I'm just excited to go back and kind of inspire the new generation as well.
Mm-hmm. So during your presentation at the Moda Center, when you were formerly presenting as the GM for the Portland Fire, some people may not know, but there was actually some people from the Golden State Valkyries there to support you. Can you talk a little bit about that support coming from the Valkyries and this entire process, how it's been handled by them?
Yeah, I was so grateful for Vanja, the Valkyries GM, that she came out and supported. The first, you know, was her blessing when I was approached to kind of throw my name in. Like, I talked to her and I kind of wanted her blessing because I knew I would need to leave the team before the season ends, and that was something that I personally struggled with. So she was great from day one that I told her I want to kind of throw my name in. You know, she was supportive, helped me with the interview process, and then for her to come out with the crazy schedule that she has already meant a lot. And just love to see women supporting women in general. So yeah, we'll always be grateful for that.
So now we got two very powerful women in charge of the Portland Fire. You being in town now and kind of putting a picture for the future, what are some things that you learned from working with the Golden State Valkyries that you could bring to the Portland Fire and just create a new culture in town?
Yeah, again, like, it's not just working with the Valkyries, but, you know, working with the Bulls and being with London Lions and the league. I think traveling the world and working across all continents has been a privileged experience, and it kind of humbled me. It opened, you know, my mind. I learned quickly that you cannot copy paste anywhere. You know, what I've discovered when I was coaching kids in Africa, they need something different than kids in Europe and in Latin America. So I kind of always have that open mind and first try to listen, learn before I make any decisions. So yeah, we want to have a culture of innovation, open-minded, like I said, and trust building, definitely.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things in the next few months before the expansion draft that you're looking forward to? Maybe some challenges that you're looking forward to?
Well, the first one is definitely finding a head coach. That would be kind of our priority. I know we're staying away from timelines, but having a coach in place before the expansion draft would be super important. Also, assistant general manager, and then we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Kind of unprecedented times that are going on with the NBA and the Portland Fire. Does this make your job any difficult as finding talent, as far as coaching, when it comes to working around the CBA? Because, like you mentioned, we're working with their unknown at the moment.
Yeah. No, we're just planning ahead like it would be last year, similar. So planning for the expansion draft early in December, and then free agency February, late January, February. So that's kind of in plans right now, but we're also ready to pivot if we need to.
Mm-hmm. Talking about this expansion draft, and if you don't know, that's okay, but yeah. Do you know last year the expansion draft was in San Francisco, Bay Area?
Yeah.
But now we have two teams coming in at the same time. Do you have any knowledge of where that draft could be at? No?
We have no information. We're building our own scenarios in our heads and going, you know, playing kind of exercises how it could evolve. But again, we have no information that I can share.
Do you have in mind already the perfect team you would like to build on? Would you like to build a very defensive-minded team? Would you like to build with a coach that's more offensive? What do you think so far?
It's also hard to say because I want the head coach to have kind of most of the say, how he or she sees the strategy, philosophy of the game. But I also think it's going to depend a lot of who we end up with the expansion draft and in free agency. I'm always of the opinion that you need to look at your personnel and who's on your roster and adapt your strategy to the players versus trying to kind of have players fit into your strategy of how you want to play basketball.
Couple more questions. But the NBA, well, the entire sport of basketball is more globalized than ever before.
Yeah.
You, with your experience in Europe, is there anything that you can take from European basketball or just international basketball that you want to bring to the Fire to maybe give a new perspective of basketball in the WNBA? I
think basketball has gotten so global that you cannot say international basketball is way different. What is different is more the scheduling. There's less games in Europe. There's not as much, not even comparable investment in Europe in the sports. So there's no facilities being built for women specifically. The travel is completely different than what we have here. So on the business side, the basketball in Europe or internationally is still lacking the investment that it's needed. So, but the talent has always been there, But now the players that see the growth of the W League here, they want to be here. And not just the growth of the league, the fans, the community that's kind of supporting them and coming to the arenas to watch the games. I think that's, for every athlete, that's, a dream scenario to play. So it's going to be interesting to see with all the expansion teams coming in, how much of the international pool will get brought in. Hopefully you bring in some players from Guatemala,
Yeah. You just never know. Okay, so talking about that international experience, what have you seen from around the league, from your experience internationally, that maybe Portland can excel on when it comes to, I don't know, international fans, the international experience when it comes to social media? What are some things that you want to engage more here in Portland that we might not see it in the United States as much?
Sharing stories of the players that we're going to have on the roster, because we don't know who they are. It's hard to say if they're going to be domestic, international. I think it's going to be a good mixture of both. I'm a huge believer of sharing stories. Players come in with their own youth development, family backgrounds, their forms of life, and I think the community connects to them better if they know who they are. And female athletes usually are way more open to kind of share those stories. And they have different interests outside of basketball as well, so it's very easy for fans to connect with them and come to the arena and support them more passionately.
Talking about the fans, I'm sure you've seen the comments, all the pages that have been made. Yeah. What excites you the most when it comes to the fans being so engaged and so thrilled to have the Portland Fire back in the WNBA?
I mean, that's what we do. We do it for the fans, right? So as of now, it has been nothing but positive support. I'm expected to get some negative feedbacks at some stage, as it usually is. But we wouldn't be here without the fans. So I'm super grateful to have that support, and I hope it just continues to grow and stays positive.
And then my last question. What is your message to the fan base when it comes to receiving feedback? And not only that, but this fan base has been a little bit of patient just because we heard people complain like, oh, we're not going as the tempo are going, maybe not as fast as people would like. But what is your message to them for being patient?
Yeah, like every expansion draft needs time. People need time to kind of build and grow, and I do see that in the Portland community. I don't think the expectations are crazy high, even though maybe internally we kind of want to keep the standard high. I just want to ask to give us the opportunity to kind of show what we can build and just enjoy the ride with us. Pick up the phone, put the deposit down for the season ticket, and I cannot wait to see everybody in the Moda Center.
And I cannot wait to see this team succeed, of course, with new Portland Fire General Manager, Vanja Černivec. I appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.